everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Compact Claustrophobia. Last episode, we kind of got a few things done. We got a little bit of discussion going on. We made a bunch of glowstone. We made a bunch of Blizz powder, a Blaze stunned wonderful things. What is this stuff, Blizz? We made a bunch of this Blizz powder, which we then used to make a bunch of cryothium dust, which we then used to make a whole bunch of glowstone dust, which is all kinds of fun and wonderful things. And the discussion, I guess I should say, we'll start with this, is why did we bother? Well, the main bother with this is I want to be able to make this stuff so that we can make these, so we can speed up a few of the machines, just so that things go a little faster. And we went ahead and did that. So let's go check this out really quickly. I went ahead and built in some Signalum upgrades for some of the auto crafting systems that are going on so that these will move a little faster. And as stated, one of the main reasons why I wanted glowstone was so I could make the enhanced energy conduit. So I made a few of those and started putting some of that stuff around where we had flux ducts in certain areas, just so that I can save a little bit of room. I've not done anything in here because I don't really want to do anything in here for right now. As far as I know, both of these are happy. I haven't checked them so far today. They look pretty good. Let's go look at the other one really quickly. He's made a few buckets of stuff. There is a few things that I probably should be doing like these. I should be probably voiding the overflow on this system so that I don't have to do this. I'm doing this little universal bin process right now because I don't know if I don't need this stuff. So that's why we made a couple of tanks. And if I need to, all I have to do is then direct a tank over to here to these to collect what we need to. So that's kind of the reason why that's sitting there. I can then reprogram stuff and do stuff. So I'm just kind of leaving it alone. I did have my test reactors blow up in my test world. Both of them blew up because I couldn't manage to keep power clear out here onto the end. So I gave in and added up a few of these little hardened flux ducts out here to the edges, just so that we could make sure that all of the rings were as happy as we could. I don't need these things blowing up. It looks ugly. It's one of those, I wish that once the system turned on, that this would form a multi-block that powered all of the rings. But I guess that's not my job of the mod creator to decide that. So that's fine. That's cool. That's wonderful. Now, we discussed and talked about last episode having to automagic or automate this thing. And I, in order to do so, was sitting in here in between episodes making new parts with my favorite little tool, which is this thing. So this is about the easiest way that I can do it right now, is with the building copy paste gadget from Direwolf 20's wonderful mod. I love it's just a good mod for people like us that just really need something that does a little bit of everything. So I was staring at that going, well, we're going to possibly use, let me get out of here. I had to make a new shrinking machine, so one of these things. I was planning on going this route, and then I played with it in a test world. First off, I looked on the Discord for this mod pack for quite a long time, and please, if someone has a link, go ahead and throw it up there. I didn't see a single usable process to automate that. Tree farms, sure. The thing with me and Lua, I don't know it. I really am not going to sit down and spend hours and hours and hours of my life relearning another program language just so I can make this work. Now, I've used it before. I mean, Computercraft back in the day, there used to be all kinds of cool things you could do with turtles. And yes, there are robots available in this pack. So I'm not a programmer. I've always said I'm not a programmer. I like to play with other things other than writing code. I've just never really enjoyed it. I took plenty of time in college learning how to do it, and I used to be able to use C++ and a few other things. I don't anymore because I haven't needed to use it. So again, it's a kind of a nuts and bolts thing for a guy like me. So while I was busy crafting that, I believe it's this one, this machine here, that machine, this compact machine, it kind of dawned on me that there's got to be a way to do this without having to have a computer. And yes, Mr. Epps, we're going to use it. We're going to put it together. You spent all that time building that wonderful program, and I did test it in Test World, and it works. It's just not how I want to do things. It's not how my brain functions. It's not how things work for me. So there's got to be a way, and I'm pretty sure there's a way to automate this thing. So let's play with that thought. I need a chest or two. One of the cool functions about building gadgets is the ability to do this. Now it's linked to that chest specifically. So anything I put in that chest, which is the biggest problem with, some of these placing mods, is that you have to be able to have an inventory for the mod to pick things up from. So if I grab this and I say grab a bunch of that and a bunch of redstone and a bunch of redstone again, I actually think it's redstone. Yes. Okay, cool. And I do this. I don't want to do too many of those, but we'll just say for a practice run, just as an idea here, just so you guys can get what I'm thinking of. If I put a chest on the wall somewhere, like I just build a wall, like right there, that's a good spot for a chest. Where do we come in at? Actually, it's probably not a really good spot for a chest. Let's see. I want to build this entirely so that I don't end up stuck in a wall or a chest. So we're going to put a piece of cobblestone down there to signify this is where we're coming in at. And then we're going to do something like this. So we know that we can do this. If I do this, and I am linked to the corner now, yes, good deal. I put all of those materials in there. Those are how we make this. So it should just place it, except I screwed up and put it in the wrong spot. Let me have that too. So if I place this down, we had to stack each of everything in there for the most part. So now we know that it's going to pull from that point. All we have to do then is do this, which is doable. I just have to design it to make it work. It's going to require a little bit of redstone. It's going to require a dropper, and it's going to require a couple of things. But technically, that's a pretty reasonable way of understanding we can place blocks in this pack. So let's go over here and see about an automated person. This little guy right here, this auto clicker. Can I make one of those? Can I make one of those? Or 5? I'm going to need a few of these. Let's do that. Just make a couple and one auto clicker. This thing can do pretty much everything. From what I can tell and from what I have watched, I've been kind of doing the cheaty thing, whereas I've been trying to figure out who can do what where and where can things come from. But I think if I put that about right there, considering the fact that what we're trying to do, the functionality of these things, the functionality of this right here is a pain because of the fact that it is going to try to place where my cursor is at. So my cursor, wherever my cursor is, you can see how it kind of follows that cursor around. So kind of what we want to do is we want to kind of mess around with this thing in this room to try to figure out where this thing is currently programmed to. So it's currently programmed to that block right there. So we need to find a spot around the wall on the outside here to put this thing down so that he's going to be somewhat where we need to go. So like right there, I need to tell it needs to move over a block. Oop, I don't want to do that. And if I hold, what is it, G, I want to go back into edit placement, and I need to move that way. No, dummy. G. I got to sit there and fiddle with this until it does what I want it to do. So we need to move. Come on, brain. We need to go that way. So let's do this. No, I don't want to do this. I want to that way from where I'm standing right here. It may require me to move it to me as well. But let's put an auto clicker down and give him that. Oh crap. No. We don't want to accidentally use this stuff. Let's start with cobblestone, and we're going to put cobblestone in the center of the room and do this. Nope. Copy. This is where the pain comes with this thing. Let's see. G, edit placement, reset, and then G, copy. That area is too large. I know. I need you to let me clear it, please. Clear. Okay, cool. There and there, I think might work. and then throw some cobblestone in here, and you might tell me where you're going to place it. Put these away. This is the finicky thing about some of these mods, and I'm doing this on purpose. Once I learn where it needs to be going, this is actually pretty easy to do. So, G paste. Where are you going to paste? Did you even find what I told you to paste? No? Come on, pick up. I want you to pick that side and that's. Why are you not? There it goes. Okay. G. Okay. I got to remember how to use this sometime. Now, if I do that, that's going to be where it's going to paste. Now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to fiddle with this thing to see where it needs to be faced. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to like it, but we'll see. Because I copied and pasted it facing that direction, I might get lucky. And it's a right click, I think. Yeah. Let's go get our this thing right there. Hang on a minute. Let me have you. Let's go speed that thing up a little bit while we're sitting here trying to figure this out. This is going to be the finicky fiddling of things that we are going to do to try to get this to work because I'm too damn lazy to learn a programming language. So everything's out. You should have power. Where did you spin to? Why did you? Where did you go? Come here. Maybe I'll get lucky. So G, where is it? We need to edit placement. I want to go -1, maybe. And I need to remove that block so it doesn't get stuck in our head. What happens if I do this again? Come on. Place it. Anyhow, this is what we're going to do for a little bit, and I am going to get this to position to where it sits correctly in the middle of the room, and I will come back with you guys. Alrighty then, so I think we should have what we need in order to be able to get this kind of figured out. We ended up with the user, or whatever the heck you want to call it. God dang it, go back in there. The automated system here, the automated placing majigger block thingy is spacing down. So that allows me to kind of grasp a concept of where it's going to place things. And this is the kind of the pain in the butt problem with doing things the hard way, which is the way I tend to like to do things anyway. Is that you're going to have to figure out what direction it's going to want to place before it figures out where it needs to place blocks. So it is on the north wall. If I recall correctly, we're looking towards the north. Yes. Yeah, facing north, and then I just did that because I kind of figured if I was over here trying to place it on one side or the other, it's not really that big of a deal. So we're just going to go north. That way I can kind of maybe possibly change these settings or save these settings and copy them as we do things. So let's grab the copy paste gadget. He is currently set to edit placement, +1 on the Y and +4 on the Z, which is going to pull it up a block and push it back that direction. So that way we know where our center line is. Now there's a thing. If you notice, we set here and here because it's going to place this block. This is the block. Basically what the building gadget does is it picks a corner and it builds from that corner in one direction. So technically this is the corner of where it is trying to build things from because I selected, I should say, it's trying to build it that way or something like that, whatever. We're going to see it in a second because the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to program where this is based on a spot in space. So we need to be able to hit that block and we need to be able to hit that block up there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove everything here. I'm going to try to do something silly kind of like that. I want the copy paste gadget. And I want to use cobblestone. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can see exactly what the coordinates need to be for this to do. And trust me, I'm assuming, well, I should say I'm assuming, we all know what that means. Hopefully, once I do this one time, I will never need to know where this is ever again, because all I have to do is make sure that this is facing the same direction, that is pointed the direction, and we're on the same side. So we're going to go back to the copy paste, and I want to make sure that I am doing the faces the same. So I want to do there and there. No. We want that block and that block so that we have a 3x3 cube that is set and ready to go. So we're going to go back to paste, and we're going to break both of these. We're going to put all that cobblestone back in here, and we're going to see what this does. All right, cool. So now it's like, say, this is the center point. This is where it thinks it needs to be. So we need to come this direction. I think one block, which is going to be -1 and +1, I think. I don't know. Nope. Two, maybe. Let's try that. Almost. Can't do math. My brain no worky right now. There. What are you doing? No. Where did you come from? What did I just do? No. 1. Yes, exactly. Right there. So that's going to be 2 blocks in from the center on all corners, so that if we decided at this point to build a structure, we know exactly where we need to be. So long as I copy from this point to that point, anything I build in here is going to work. So let's grab this guy out of here and hopefully not break things, because if I have to cut this up, I guess there's other easier things we could be doing. But we're going to do the hard one first. So if I copy in the exact same coordinates that we did the last time, or there to there, and if I check my little copy paste gadget, it's going to try to paste a cube of stuff around, and we put our one little thing. Which side is missing? That one? Nope, too high. And down 1 block, please. Go. And where's my redstone? I think I can do this, maybe. Oh, come on. Don't make me move something. What are you guys doing? Hey, let me build this. You should see it. It's not in the way. It's a legitimate structure. It'd be a legitimate structure if I put it on correctly. Let's do that right this time. Center. There. There we go. Good Lord. There. Do that. Now, the fun part. I'm going to give it some stuff, and I'm going to hope it builds it without breaking things. Oh, it's in there. It stuck the ender pearl in it somewhere, and it's not liking that. Did I get it? No? May have to go find that ender pearl. But that is the general idea of what I want to do. Now, the other thing that I have found out, apparently, yeah, it didn't get to place the ender pearl or the redstone block. That's fine. I wish I had a magnet. I know there probably is one, but I wish. I should just go make 1. Now, if I put you in there again, you'll finish the hole. Thank you very much. Here's the neat part. Let's go grab a lever. And I did find this out finally. Off. Oh, that doesn't work. Can I do that? Maybe. Maybe not. And it's going to complete the project. Ender pearls. Awesome. So all I got to do is automate the rest of that, which is going to be nothing more than designing a redstone system that's going to understand that after a certain period of time, drop a piece of redstone on this out of a dropper and into the system. So let's go to work on that part. I'm going to go get some stuff and I will be right back with that. Okay, so with all of the fun silliness set aside and everything working, or at least kind of working, I'm going to step you guys through the process of how this is all going to control itself. So we're going to start with the simplest method of possible of trying to understand how this is going to work. So because of the fact that we know this thing has the ability to be able to draw from an inventory, and notice it's the word inventory and not chest, I can use an interface. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an interface for like the only time you probably ever going to use an interface as its intended purpose. It's going to sit here and keep a stock of items in an interface that we can grab all the time. It's going to have a crafting upgrade so we can craft the blocks of redstone that we need, and it's going to have a stack upgrade just so that it keeps this interface nice and full. So that building gadget or copy paste gadget is bound to that interface and is pulling things from that interface when I tell it to. All right, so we're using a little bit of item conduits. You could possibly use an exporter from refined storage. I'm going to try to keep the refined storage as small as possible in here, at least for this point. Mainly because of the fact that I can use this interface to do probably at least another 2 recipes, I think, probably 2, because we should be able to do, we're only going to be able to do 1 more recipe in this cube. We're going to have to build it above the top. The only problem with doing this is the fact that your recipe is totally dependent on what you're copying and pasting inside that gadget. That's the only problem with this. It's not like a robot where you can program a robot to do however many recipes you want to and feed him that kind of stuff. It's something that you can do, and it's something that we will probably eventually do with the robotic part of open computers. But let's go ahead and continue on down this, because this is a process we're going to want to have happen all the time. So in here we have a detector. The detector is currently set to detect when the inventory or the refined storage has more than 10 ender pearls. We're going to be changing this number. I'm just got it set to 10 right now. What happens is when that number gets lower than that, I'm using some mix of what is this, Forge multi-port stuff. This should be Project Red repeaters because they can stick on the walls. I love the fact that those repeaters can stick on the walls. And we're using a mix of redstone conduit because a redstone conduit has a really cool function about several things. One of which is a redstone timer. And that filter we've got set to 300 ticks or 15-ish seconds. It takes about 15 seconds for this thing to place the blocks down, hit the button up there, craft it, and then be ready and clear for the next one. The problem is we have to have this surface area, this crafting section, completely clean before the next iteration starts, because of the fact that the crafting actually occurs in that block space right there. So we can place blocks down with this machine, but unless this entire area is clear, meaning the crafting process is over with, the center block is not open, center block is not ready, and therefore in this case, we won't be able to place the redstone block. So we want to make sure that's clear out completely. So I'm using one of these to do that. You can use a Project Red timer. That's perfectly fine. Project Red timers are, they work fine. I kind of tend to like to keep things as quiet as possible, and a spinny little thing that blinks all the time is kind of aggravating. I would love it if and there probably is one, and I need to actually look. I don't want you outputting on green. I want you inputting on green. I have these separated so that I can remember what we're doing. Anyhow, so what that's going to do is it's going to push a redstone signal on channel red into both of these repeaters. This repeater, I believe, is set to 3 ticky ticks, and this one is set to like 5 or 6. Basically, what happens is we need to be able to keep the redstone signal on long enough inside this auto clicker to the side of this auto clicker so that the thing has enough time to place all of the blocks. It takes a couple, it's like a second. It just bang, and then it places it, and then it's kind of one of those, you need to kind of fiddle with this. The length of the pulse that comes out of that clock is not long enough, let me just put it like that, to make this function. So what we're doing is we're giving it just a little bit longer of a redstone pulse, and in that connection right there, don't hit it too much, I have a not filter. Now a not filter basically is telling this thing right now, I have a redstone high signal on right now at that auto clicker, meaning it is not allowed to function. It's the same thing as if a lever was sitting on the ground next to it. Notice I do not have that set as strong, because if it's strong, it will affect this thing. Something that I was not aware of is that if you place a redstone signal on any one of these projectors, the system will not work. So that's something to think of. And I fought with that for a minute, and knowing that now, I should have moved this little auto clicker over a couple of blocks, but it kind of tries to keep it nice and compact. So after the idea here is after that thing has fired, we've got a repeater up here again that is on a similar system. Same input, just a few ticks later, it's going to say, after we build this whole entire structure, that repeater will fire to tell that dropper to drop a piece of redstone, and the process will start to craft. So it basically works pretty much automatically without any input or anything like that. The only real issue is it has to go a full iteration of 15 seconds before it makes the first craft. I think. We'll see how it works. On the other hand, the biggest problem here is we have to be able to keep this copy paste gadget full of power. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use an energetic infuser to periodically charge that thing. And I went ahead and upgraded this one up into a reinforced one with the 2 augments to make it work just a little faster. We're bringing in power from that wall over there, and I'm using some item conduits with a power item filter in one side. This is another one of those really handy things that I love about Ender.io, that if you need to be able to charge something out of a user or a thing, or even for just that matter, if you want to have something pull flux capacitor out of your, like if you have an aerial interface that's managing your interface, your other deal, and you don't happen your interface, your inventory, and you don't happen to have a wireless charging system, there's many player interaction interfaces where you can have that thing pull a specific item out of your inventory, stuff it in a charger. When it's full and done, it puts it back into the interface and it puts it back into your inventory. So we're looking at this here. We're going to edit. We're looking for when this thing is under 50%. I probably should do it at like 75, but I tested it with this flux capacitor because this flux capacitor is under 50%. So let's do this 50. Did you pull it? You didn't pull it. All right. If I put this flux capacitor in there because it is under 50%, it should pull it out of there, put it in there, and start charging. Now, it will not return this until it's full. So what we're going to do, I think, like I said, is I want that to be 75% just so that it's not terribly wasting time trying to charge this thing, because it does hold 100,000 RF, so it does take it a couple of seconds. So once that thing fills up, it'll just fill it, or I shouldn't say, once it gets to that point, it will pull it out of there, fill it up, and put it back in the machine. No filtering, no anything loud. It should be just extract on the red. Red goes in, insert on the black, back and forth kind of stuff. So that should just take care of itself. So do you want to watch it work? We can watch it work, because I think from now on, I don't want to keep 10 ender pearls in hand. I want to keep 100. So he should go through one iteration, which is going to take about 15 seconds, hopefully. There it blinked. It built it. It dropped it. It crafted it. And once that gets done, the only thing I don't like is there's not like a thing that tells me when it's done. It gets it over with. It blinks again. It gets it done. So in order to finish the process, we have to, of course, collect the finished product, which in this case is an ender pearl. We're using a accumulator because it can reach pretty much all the way out to the center of the area. It picks it up because it has an automated capability of auto outputting something into an interface or an extract or whatever. We're just pushing the ender pearl right straight back into that interface. So there we go, guys. I know this is kind of a random roundabout way of doing things. This is how I like to build these kinds of silly little projects. I like having just unnecessarily complicated things to work. See, it failed that time. It fails occasionally because of the fact of just tick rate and whatnot and how this world is kind of acting. And it basically, the easiest way to stop that failure is right there, to do that. And that'll give it a little bit more time. Oh, it pulled it. We're charging. You're supposed to put it back in. Hey, oh, duh. Get back to work. So, but yeah, it will occasionally screw up. And if you're working on a server or something like that and you're seeing that there's a problem, advance the ticks on both of these 1 or 2, just so that it can, try to keep up. So it is one of those deals that I will have to keep an eye on as we play with this. But yeah, there we go. I'm pretty well happy with that. I think that's going to do what I need it to do. I'm going to probably go ahead and recopy this entire thing above this one over here so that we can start crafting some of the other problems that we need to craft. And this one, we may end up using this one down here to craft the, oh, come on, brain. The gold, should say these ones, that one, the normal compact machines, so that we can autocraft those, so we can get through some of this stuff, so that in the next episode, hopefully, I will have enough parts to make one of those, or should say 6 of them. So I don't even think we have enough obsidian at this point to do that. So it's going to be one of those we're just going to have to let it play. But guys, I think for now, let's see it do it again. Dink. That's pretty cool. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.